Okay, just double checking, make sure everything's good. Okay, just double checking, make sure. Why do I sound so quiet? My goodness. I think this should help. Why do I sound so quiet? My goodness. Or is that just me? Or is that just me? I think it's just me. Huh? Uh, I think it's just me. Okay, okay. I think I can figure it out. Okay. Okay. We are here. We are live. We are present and available to talk to people, get started on things, and all of that fun jazz. But for now, uh, let's just say the quick hello. Welcome everyone to the stream. If you haven't been here before, welcome. I'll explain everything in due time. And for those who have been here before, yay, we're getting back into my basic concept. My contracts are TTRPG that I'm building from the ground up, and it's going to be great. um, so, currently, for those of you who missed, basically, I hadn't been able to get to working on this in a while because I had gotten very sick. I had caught COVID, which for most people is not good to catch. But for me, it's also specifically not the greatest thing either because I have a pretty bad health system, including but not limited to my. I'm getting adjusted. It's okay. This has been the first time in a while that I haven't that I haven't worked on projects, so I'm getting used to it. I was able to stream on Tuesday because I stream on Tuesdays as well, but that didn't require me to use my OBS and stuff like that. So I figured this was probably the best time to get readjusted and see what we can do. So I'll probably go mute once in a while because I am currently eating dinner while I am also doing all of this stuff anyway because I got busy and figured that that was a good time to get started on that. And I hope that people can join and enjoy how I am building up my system, ask questions, give insights, all of that fun stuff while I am working. Um, it's going to be pretty laid back, pretty relaxed for the most part. Um, I was going to copy and paste everything from the documentation that my partner and I had put together about the evolving dice system because we had kind of been working on it a little bit before I even started streaming. Uh, and then what happened is all the progress ended up getting lost. Yeah, lost. It's not ideal, but I'm just gonna turn myself down just a smidgen so I'm not too much into the yellow. But yeah, I ended up losing all of it in the process of finding the document and moving it over to to here, and it kind of just got lost into the void, and I could not recall the exact things that were mentioned or resolved from that. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of have to redo all of that work, but we also, because we're redoing it, it also gives me a chance to make sure that the way that I'm doing it is the way that I want it done, you know? Um, Going over everything. And then, of course, we'll work on like the main rough iteration as well. But I figured for now we'll at least get the dice system uh, placed so that it will make all the other things easier as well. So I hope that everyone gets excited. I'm excited. Uh, and I am probably going to put in things here and there. I still have to build up my streaming setup for the most part, but it's okay. It's all good. All right. So first things first, I am going to put down what I mean by an evolving dice system. So I'm going to go mute for a second while I quickly chow down on dinner, and then you'll see me put in the work, and then I'll check back in, make sure I don't miss any chats, don't miss anything like that, and we'll see how it goes. All right. I'm going mute, but give me one moment. Okay. I've taken a few bites. Now I figured I would just type some more. Um, I'm not gonna plan on like chewing on stream because that's not what this is supposed to be. I am merely working on getting everything set up, and I just so happen to need to eat. So I think I'm. You suck here. You are trying. You are average. Um, you are decent. You are skilled. You are incredibly skilled. You have other master. So this is kind of the evolving dice system that I'm thinking about doing, specifically regarding like the base dice. You will also have modifiers, obviously, that will adjust and push you over and keep you under as well. My thought is maybe I think the next thing I should probably set up is the DC, where you hit that benchmark for the different skills, you know? So I think we're gonna do that. So let's see. For most systems, I know 10 is a pretty average system, but that's primarily for D&D. And I don't want to bone the people that are in the D8, D6, D1 where they can't hit 10. So I'm going to change that a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do, call them markers. 0 to 5, I'd say would be a failure. 6 to 10 would be um, light success. 11 to 15 will be decent, moderate success, and a 16 to 20 is um, exceptional success. Is no, will be great, great success, and then 21 plus would be exceptional success. And then of course, depending on where you fall on the failure, so we'll say that 0 or 1, 0, negative numbers, negative numbers. So it will be 0 to 5 would be, uh, depending, well, I'm going to put this as a general thing actually. Depending on final number results plus um, plus, so yeah, okay. Critical failure, a critical failure, because I kind of want to have a critical failure. critical failure is, we'll have it equal 1, 0, or negative number. Because there's a chance that someone will probably have a negative number. An exceptional success would be the equivalent of a critical success, at least in my book. An exceptional success would be a critical success because I want to count the critical success as not the highest dice rolled, but the threshold beaten. So, um, if the final result is a 1, 0, or negative number, then that would be considered a critical failure. But a general failure would be like, yeah, a general failure would be 2, 3, and 5. So there is a chance that you'll end up failing, and it fails magnificently, where it is a complete shit show and you are being hit where it hurts, or you could just have a softball failure. So, and there's a chance that you'll more likely have a softball failure, and depending on how you decide to build up the modifiers and stuff like that, would also depend on how quickly you can get into it. This is just me throwing out markers as like what you would consider success and everything like that. You know, I might reword these though. Hold on a second. All right. Um, success with, we'll say success with regret. Um, low level success. High level success. Exceptional success. Critical success would equal I don't know. I don't know what I would call a critical success. Maybe we won't have a critical success, or maybe we will, and it'll only be. We'll see. We'll see how this ends up going. We'll see. Let's get through this first, and then I will figure out critical successes. That way we can see where the final bits and bobs go, and how that's gonna end up working out. It'll be fine. That'll be good. Okay. But critical failure is always a thing. It's always fun to be a part of a party where a critical failure is what's happening. Um, and I am planning on having that be a fun thing, especially in a world where you're already being kicked around as it is. So, yeah. All right. Okay. Let's get back into it. Try not to eat too much while I'm doing this, but like I said, I gotta have to eat today, so um, might be a good idea. All right, now we have attributes slash core values slash abilities, because I don't know what to name them yet. But this is going to be the main. Um, this will be the main source my of each person. So I promise I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Um, yes. Okay. This way I can see any chats that do come up. That makes it easier. Okay, let's see. First and foremost, let's do body. This will be like strength, constitution, health. Let's see what else. Constitution, strength, health. We'll leave it there for now. Speed, reflexes, agility, um, agility, um, initiative, intelligence. Well, this is gonna be different. Okay, so intellect, understanding things, technicalities, uh, things, technicalities. Because I kind of want it to be on the same as like intelligence in D&D, where it's like, you know that like where the difference between intelligence and wisdom, like you know that a tomato is a fruit, but you not necessarily that it shouldn't be put in a fruit salad. But there's gonna be another set of things anyway. So intellect, technicalities, um, left brain, um, understanding. This would be wisdom, common sense, um, common sense. And this would be specifically because I want to make sure that there's like the things for the human world, but I also want to make sure that there's things for the demons and the devils and other things like that. So specifically for the metaphysical practice um, versus the human world and human understanding. So what I might do is let's do this instead. Let's do human intellect. Oh no, wait, I got it again. Knowledge, intelligence, um, human understanding. No, intelligence. I'll add more, I promise. This is just me getting it all out. Knowledge versus. I want to put wisdom because that's not what this is. It's not just wisdom. Mm, hmm. Intelligence, figuring things out, logic. Yeah, that's right. Knowledge. This would be, I guess, intuition. Um, reading cues, wisdom, recognition of patterns and etiquette. Recognition of patterns and understanding. I can spell. I could spell. Um, charm. This would be charisma. Um, confidence. No, because confidence and charm does not equal the same thing. Adaptable, suave, ability to communicate well. And then, let's see. Appearance. Sort of related to charisma, to charm, but it's not quite the same. Physical looks, ability to adjust, physical looks, standing out versus hiding in plain sight. Yo! Hey, Freezer Killer. Hey, Crab. How's it going? What's good? Uh, hope you're doing well. Luck. This will be self-explanatory. Going well. Gonna chill here while playing. Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan. I'm just working on the dice system right now. So, redoing a lot of the work that I ended up losing, but that's okay. I'm getting there. It's helping me look at what I need and what I don't need, you know? Excuse me. I'm also having to eat because I didn't really get to eat right before I started working, so oops. um, well, appearance would probably be its own. It would probably fall under a different skill, honestly. Um, let's see, body, speed, knowledge, intuition, charm. Charm could technically house appearance in it. But we'll see what ends up happening later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 skills so far. Power. That's another one. Abilities. Um, hellish presence. Um, Evolvement of ability. Evolvement. No, that's not the right word. I'll figure out the right word for that. All right. Power. That would definitely be one though. Is power. Body, speed, knowledge, intuition, charm, luck, power. All right. If I think of any more, I'll put them back up there. Now I need specifically skills. Skills are going to fall within each. So for body, they will have their own set of skills. Same with speed, knowledge. Well, I'll just have the skills and then we'll see how many skills will fit into each thing or if it'll just be a one skill thing. Um, we'll see what ends up happening. Alright, done eating. Everything's good. Since we started, maybe I can put a little chat thing that allows people to answer when they come in. Or do I do? Mhm. 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 Trying to make sure that I've got everything. I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Right now, my brain is in multiple places at the same time, so trying to figure things out is a little difficult. um, I was going to make it a little bit more interactable in chat, but it doesn't necessarily work out that way. Alright, for skills, we have brute force. We're gonna have brute force. We'll have um, brute force. We'll have like I said, my brain is in a few different places all at the same time, so I am doing my best. I'm still technically recovering with the brain fog because that was a big part of COVID that I experienced was brain fog. So I am still getting over that. So when I sit down, it's like my brain forgets how to process information and put it out correctly. So, teehee. Um, let's see. Do brute force. We're gonna do the civ movement. These I'm not married to these names either, so I would love to hear any suggestions that people will have about what I will be working on and what I'll be doing. Because yeah, I love to hear input, any sort of ideas. I love to hear it. Love to hear it. Brute force, reflexive movement. We'll have let's do starting power. This would kind of be like initiative. Take an action, that's a better one. Hits to take. Words are not fun. As someone that works a lot with words, I sure have a hard time mastering them. Let's see. Resistance. We'll have round speed. We'll have speed, movement. We'll have human tech, human tech, human history, human human basics. I'm gonna spell that out. Technology, human history, human basics, human etiquette. Dang, etiquette. My goodness. Human etiquette. Then we got hellish history, hellish basics, hellish etiquette. We're gonna have um, we'll have occult history, occult basics, occult vibes. We'll also have adaptability physical, adaptability mental, adaptability emotional, and adaptability occult. Adaptability in the occult, but I don't want to call it adaptability occult because that's dumb. Malleable. Malleable. That should work. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Malleable. Bull in the occult. Of course, that's not a real word. La 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 la. I thought Fridays would be a good idea. They might not be. I don't know. Maybe I'm just off today. Maybe I'm just off today. That could also be a thing. Because sometimes, you have good days, you don't have such good days other days. But, you do what you can. You show up for what you gotta do. I'm trying to decide if Fridays are going to be the continuing of this, or maybe if I should adjust and move them somewhere else. I don't know. I don't know. Might not be the best idea to stream on Fridays, but I am still going to try to stream until 6:30 tonight, at least 6:30 my time. So I have like an extra, like an hour, 2 hours away, 2 hours away, give or take. Malleable in the occult, full energy. That'll be it. That'll be it. Because depending on that will help with hiding things. We also have attack skills. Attack. Well, that'll be a whole thing. Let's also have charm. Let's do presence. We'll do we'll do we'll do presence. We'll do uh flattery. We'll do some deception because that's always a good one. We'll do um we'll do sensing, which is more of the occult form. Um, observation, seeking, um, because sensing would be specifically on the occult based level where they are trying to sense the presence of someone who might be an occult user, or whether they have any occult capability or otherworldly capability. So that'd be a quick way to determine if someone is human, someone is. Ooh, wait. Cloaking would be a good one. We'll do cloak. Well, that will be part of malleable energy. It would be cloaking. Um, ooh, cloaking and uncloaking. Not clocking. Cloaking and emphasizing. Emphasizing. This will be for the presence. That's a good one. Seeking. So yeah, sensing would be the ability to tell whether or not someone is or is not of an energetic, specific energetic thing. So it could help with finding out if they are part of the heavens, the heavenly stuff, if they are human, or if they're part of the hellish stuff. Observation would be mostly like kind of like what perception is. You're just looking around and seeing things and taking note about stuff. And seeking would be like investigation, where you're actively looking for something specific. Um, Usually you'll probably get more of a benefit if you're putting more thought into what you're doing, but we'll see what that ends up looking like. So, But yes, 3 different ways to observe and see things. Brute force, taking action, um, reaction, resistance. So brute force, this would be basic strength stuff. So if you kick in the door, basic strength. This is when you would like kick in a door or pick up something or something like that. This is like your brute force. Reaction, this is the speed of doing things. So this could be initiative, this could be um, reacting to something that's happening, like how quickly you can react to it. Resistance, this is basically constitution as well as immune system and healing effectiveness. Because this is basically like you take a hit and you can get back up. That's part of your resistance. Movement, this is how far you can go. Ground speed, etc. Are you kidding me? I think that's a biddy trying to get into the room. Are you trying to come in? Yeah, you can come in. I'm just gonna prop the door down a little bit and I'll let you out if you need out. Dropped in with the cat. Uh, at least it's during a time where I'm trying to get things done. Ground speed, human technology, how to navigate the day to easy it is to learn how to use um, cars, computers, phones, not just technology, but also like utensils. Hi, Diddy. Are you gonna leave again? It's okay if you do. I just need to know because I want to keep the door closed when possible while I'm doing this. Okay. Thank you, Biddy. Alright. Look at that. We got a Stream Boo commenter. I haven't had one of those in a while. um, yeah, I haven't had one of those in a while. I'm just gonna do a thing. How do I do it? I have to do it on the computer. Hold up. I'm not good at this. That's fine. It's whatever. I'm figuring things out. I'm still new to this. I'm getting there. Okay. Alright, let's see. Getting back into this. Utensils, uh, doors. All type of, technology that would be considered part of the human realm history. This could be events, uh, searchability. No, events. Um, there'll be more. I promise there will be more. Moving back down here. Basics. Um, day to day living, understanding how humans work, getting knowledge on how to interact slash knowledge on how to interact slash deal, human etiquette, ability to mimic understanding human emotions, getting not no offensive minimum offense. History of the hellish realms. Oh yes, important figures. Uh, yeah, yeah, there'll be more. The realms, the beings, hellish beings, there will be more, I promise. Understanding hierarchy would be hierarchy. Because it's not like they don't have hierarchy, right? Because in the hellish realms, there's clearly going to be a hierarchy system because of power level, work on other stuff. It's going to be a number of things that influence people, how these hellish beings interact in the hellish realms versus in the human realms. And I think that the difference between like most hellish beings versus like those who have an idea of hellish etiquette are their understanding of the hellish realms. Because hellish realms basics would basically be like, oh, I know I'm a hellish being. you're a hellish being, so we're part of the same hellish being. And you probably will know like what the different realms are named and stuff like that. But you might not know like how you approach someone of a hierarchy over you, because you might not necessarily have the knowledge about that. Not because you're dumb necessarily, but just because you don't think about it, especially if you end up being like a hellish beast, like a hellhound or hellcat or something like that. Um, you would probably not even consider etiquette because you haven't had to experience etiquette, right? Because you're a beast. Uh, you're not cognitively more humanoid or less humanoid, and depending on levels, we'll also get into that because certain levels would probably equal certain types of things. It's not like you're stupid, it's just that you never found yourself to be part of that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Occult history. Um, well, no, we don't need occult history. We just need um, knowledge. This one would be important. Figures, um, specific instances in history, and evolution. Occult basics. How spells work. Identifying. Ooh, you could also use that to identify occult items. This one would be how spells work, item finding, item use. This will be laws of metaphysics and other things like that. Occult vibes. This will be ability to sense influence, ability to ability to hmm, the sense influence, manipulation of power, adaptability physical, um, um, and the effects of it. You are dealing mental abilities and the effects of it. When you are dealing with social ability and the effects of it. Cloaking, emphasizing the ability to hide or promote your energy slash power. Presence. Um, how you are perceived by flattery, doing the use of positive language to garner favor, use of positive language to gain a certain outcome, deception, the use of lies and or negative language to get out of or obtain something. Get out of something or obtain something. We should probably also do intimidation, the use of threats slash negative language to gain a certain outcome. So kind of like this, the use of deception, the use of lies, purposefully skewing reality slash truth in order to get out to achieve sensing. This will be to perceive origin if human versus hellish being versus heavenly observation, um, perception, all five senses, not too focused on everything, just baseline. Seeking investigation, actively looking for things, actively searching. Okay. This is a pretty good list for the most part. I know that there's going to be more clearly, but this is good. This is definitely good. So far, this is what we have. Currently, we have an evolving dice system. This evolving dice system is going to start at a D4. Everyone starts at a D4 in something, at least. This is you suck. You suck here. You don't have very high chance of success, if any chance of success on the thing. This would be what your dump stat would be. Like if you're having to put a D4 into something, it's going to be there. You don't want to get caught into a D4. You can't get lower than a D4. That's the lowest you can get. D6, you are trying. Very small chance of success, but there's still somewhat of a chance. And the chances are that you're more likely not going to end up critically failing versus, the thing. D8, you are average. This is basically like, yeah, it's a hit or miss. You could do it. Or you could fail, but it's kind of like a, we'll see. We'll see what happens. D10, you are decent, meaning that you are more than likely going to succeed in what you're doing, even if you're not necessarily the best at it, you could still get some good success on it, but more positively than not. D12, You are skilled. These are things that you're good at doing. You are more likely to be successful in it than not. Um, and you are probably going to end up having more success in it. D20, you are incredibly skilled. This is something that you've been working on for a while. This is something that you're pretty naturally good at. Um, this is something that's going to end up being like what most end up being because D100 is you have mastery. So that one, I'm not going to give it to people at all. You have to earn getting up to a D100 in that because let's be real here. A D100 is going to be kind of a big number. And if 21 plus is always an exceptional success, it's going to take a while to get up to here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 dice here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll see what ends up happening. We'll see what ends up happening. But I'm not gonna give anyone just a random D100 in anything. I am going to have it be something that they evolve into. What's probably gonna happen is I'll probably do something along the lines of when you become human, um, you're gonna have probably D4 in something, a D6 in something, a D8 in something, maybe a D10 in something, maybe a D12 in something. But I think that these three, five, these five will probably be what everyone starts off with in when they become human for the first time and you're starting to figure things out. Or maybe I'll even like bring it down to like 4, depending on how things go. Markers. This is the the final number that you need for success. So 0 to 5 is a failure. 6 to 10 is a success, but with regrets. So you succeeded, but it's like at what cost? Um, 11 to 15, low level success. So this would be like, oh yeah, you succeeded. It's not much, but it's something. You did okay. 16 to 20 would be high level of success, and 21 plus would be exceptional success. This is kind of like God tier level. Hey, cats, did you know that the people in Discord are gay frogs? What? No, no way. Huh? That's good to see you here. Yay. Oh my goodness. We are currently just building up the system right now. That's nice. Cat's Key is a subscriber, which is always awesome. Good friend. Crab, you see, Cats is also here. Woohoo! Alright. So far, um, body, speed, knowledge, intuition, charm. I think these guys will be part of like the core grouping, I think. And then these guys would be yeah, dear Lord Cat's here. These part, these guys would be part of another thing, so this will be different, clearly. And then we got the skills here. It's a bit of skills so far. I know that there's going to be more on here, obviously, but this is kind of what I'm thinking so far. I think I'm going to go for another 20 minutes on specifically this, and then I'll go back to the rough iteration. I pass out on couches. I'm sure you do. You seem to pass out on couches a lot. Nothing wrong with that. Um, so currently we've got skills. I should probably have, I mean, considering that I started from 0, I'm doing pretty well this time. Well, maybe I'll have this be a little higher. So instead of 16 to 20, maybe 16 to 25. And then like 26 plus. We'll see. We'll see. I'll make adjustments as is. I'm always welcome for input if anyone has good ideas on stuff. Um, let's see. We'll have the attack skills. We'll have attack skills. We'll have um contracts. Contract contracting and deal making skills. We'll have because this is just basic things here. Attacking skills that will be good to have in case attacks do end up happening. Contracting and deal making skills that will also be good to have, especially because part of this is going to end up being making contracts. Probably probably power skills, which will be more customizable because each person will have a customizable set of skills that they'll have. And let's see. Working and earning skills for jobs. And adaptability physical will probably also, all of these adaptability skills are going to end up being important, especially in the beginning, as they're getting used to being in human forms again. And this might be something that is consistently written up and adjusting because depending on things, it'll end up working out. As dice evolve, a dice can also devolve. So, dice evolution slash de-evolution. This would be what happens to the dice, and how you get them to evolve and how you get them to de-evolve. And that will be dependent on skills that you make. So, on a, I want to say like a critical success. I don't have success. I have failure. No, because at that point, the only people that will critically fail are those that have D4s. I might work out the critical fail and critical success system out, because that might end up looking a lot different. We'll play around with that in a minute. Dice evolution and de-evolution. What can evolve dice? Buying. So items, powers, training, and don't mind me. Powers, training, stuff like that. Buying. Well, training can be part of the second one. Training, time for effort, time and effort. 3. Lucky events, luckiness, luck skill, and events that end up lucky. We'll also deal with that seems like a good amount. What can devolve? That's a word, right? Devolve. There we are. Devolve dice. Loss, an attack, lose, things stolen, etc. Negative, repeated failure, where certain amount of fails in the skill slash core ability. Occult items, powers, influences. Yeah, that seems like a good amount. And then modifiers. Well, how would I set it up? It would probably be because what I'm thinking is these attributes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 attributes there that are going to be consistently referenced back to. It's going to be involved in a lot of things that people end up doing. There might be more, obviously, but I'm thinking that each of these will have its own dice. So if I do 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, that could be a decent amount. Like you could be like, oh, my body is a D12, my speed is a D10, my charm is a D8, my intuition is a D6, and then my knowledge is a D4. And then to each of these, there are going to be um, probably specific um, dice added onto each of these that will be specific to that. So maybe for a roll, you do a D, you have a D4 because of the main skill that it's associated with it, but then you also have another D4 because you've also put a D4 modifier into it. And then that way you can also do things like that. So modifiers are going to be, so how does, let's figure out how do rolls work. Whenever you're asked to roll for a skill, it's going to be ability or core dice plus skills plus skill dice plus slash minus, nope, what, nope, no, minus Hero. Hi Necrobius, welcome. I am just going through Hero. Plus or minus modifier. It's okay. My fingers aren't doing so well tonight either. I am working. I am diligently working, but I'm also struggling a little bit. um, but this is looking pretty good. So since I had to start everything from scratch in regards to the dice system, because previous, uh, the previous document that had kind of the basic concept of what we were wanting ended up being lost into the void when we were transferring it over. I feel you. I had to get my third cup of coffee just now. Yeah, yeah, it almost feels like another cup of coffee for me too. But I also know if I drink coffee this late in the day, I'm not going to be able to sleep properly and then I'll feel sick again. So I totally understand. When flies run away, when files run away. Yeah, yeah. It just disappeared. So I had to restart it, but that's okay because I've been working on this for about an hour, maybe almost an hour and a half. And I've been able to get some of the stuff, especially since it's been a while since I last worked on that particular document, so I can't remember everything. But this is kind of how I am fixing it. I'm taking this as a sign that I just need to fix it. So how each dice, what rolls will work would be each core skill will have a dice roll. Then each skill itself will have a dice. And then there will be a plus or minus modifier because the modifiers are going to be specific to um, the race of the being that you're choosing to be. I think core dice are going to be specific to uh, um, lore as well, but the plus or minus modifier is going to be hyper specific and personalized because of the background of each person. Because not every person that plays the same kind of being will have the same modifiers in the same spots. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking from that. So far, I have 5 core skills, and then I'm able to put in luck and power. But these skills are not going to be necessarily influenced by the same dice rolls and the dice rules. They're just going to be added onto things based on circumstance. So these are kind of like perk core values and stuff. And you'll be able to spend points of luck and points of power into things. And depending on what you customize, I'm guessing that that will look different. And then each of these skills will also technically have um, like an association with the different dice skills that of the core abilities. But I also kind of think it'd be fun to play around with the idea that they have their own set of dice that you add on to them, but you only get a certain amount of specific dice to add on to them. I think that these two I'm gonna highlight as like this yellow, and these guys you have to evolve in order to achieve the highlighted bunch. Oh, I see what I did wrong. I missing a word. Alright, you have to evolve your dice in order to achieve the highlighted bunch, because you can start off with a d12 in something, but that you only get one in one of those skills. So, and then when it comes to these skills, I'll find a way on how we would divvy out what the skills would look like. And I do have more skills that I have to make too, such as the attack skills, deal making skills, power skills, and working and earning skills. But the power skills will be very dependent on each person. So, because, like I said, not everyone who has the same being or the same kind of being is going to necessarily have the same skills, because they're all going to have different skills. But some are more favored in one kind of skill than others. So this will, I think that these guys, I think that these guys will probably end up being more personalized, and I will figure out how. I'll highlight them in purple, because I'll get back to that soon. Alright, I'm gonna be right back. I had to eat, and now I need to go get some water because now my throat feels dry. So give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. All right, I am back. I am back. Yes, hydration. Hydration is good. Looking forward to seeing how this all works out together in the end. I am too. I am very excited to see how this comes out. I mean, that's kind of the ideal, right? Is to make sure that it's something that a lot of people can enjoy. All right. Well, let's get into the rest of the stream, which we'll be working on this document some more as well. And I do plan on working on this in my off time. I just hadn't had the chance yet to do so because of getting sick, and a few other things have kind of taken priority over specifically doing this in my off time. But that's one reason for this stream, is so that I can work on this while being kept accountable to work on it. So, um, if anyone needs a recap as to the kind of system that I am working on, the specifics of it and stuff like that, just let me know. Um, quick little synopsis for everyone. This is a game where you guys play hellish beasts, um, which are basically demons, uh, demons, devils, and other sorts of beings that are part of the hellish realms. And then you get conscripted, forced, and enslaved by a person known that we call the Slumlord, who is able to get their hands on occult practices and decides to use this to get as rich as possible without paying too much into resources. And because of that, you end up being enslaved to this slumlord and having to, the whole basis is that you have to pay off the debt that they have assigned to you so that you can, once you pay off the debt, you will come back as a hellish being. But until then, you're basically human, and you have to also buy back a bunch of things that you had taken away. I feel that I'm trying to get this worked out again before the end of the month. Then I need to cram as much work as I need for the dev team on our on our visual novel. I need a vacation. That's a vibe. That's such a vibe. I totally understand that. No, no shot. Um, I totally get you. That's, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to do. And yeah, no, I have a lot of things because I am currently, I've been dealing with a lot this last few months. Um, but I'm doing my best to get through it. Like, we are trying to move because we are currently staying in a house with a bunch of other people because of a few things that happened that have left us without much of a home. But luckily, we had close friends that we were able to stay with, and it's still time for us to leave. And we've been trying to move for a few months now, but every time we try to contact a place about it, there's something that always goes awry, and housing goes fast, and then other things happen. So we're trying to do that. Um, we're homeschooling the child um, who has basically special needs that needs active work and active help on that. So we started homeschooling them um, because of the intense bullying that they experienced last year. We're taking care of them and making sure they're okay. Um, I am working on stuff in general, going back to school, doing what I can to make a little bit of money here and there, as well as my consistent work, as well as uh, all of the other things that are happening. And it's been just a constant these last few months, especially. But this has kind of started at the beginning of last year to 2 years ago. So, yeah. Hope you can get that worked out. I know that housing can be a pain to figure out, especially in this com. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it's a lot, and unfortunately, um, a lot of the things that we do for getting us into a place requires a lot more that would have been fine last year, like it would have worked out, but this year it feels like it's an impossible ask. So we're working on it. We're working on it. It's getting there. But it's a long process, and we are kind of cramped up in a room in a house because that's where we can fit everything right now. And we're hoping to be moved out hopefully by no later than October, the last week of October, because that's when kiddo's birthday is during that weekend, and I want to make sure that we are able to have them in their own room by that point. So, part of this work that I'm doing with Twitch and streaming and working on things like this is because I know that in the long run it's going to be good for me and it's going to help things out, even if I don't know how exactly that's going to end up looking like. It's what's happening, you know? Yeah. So, back to TTRPG making, because that is what we're really here to do, is we're building a TTRPG. Um, so currently, these are the beings that we have. Got demons. BRB need to medicate. No, for sure. Medicate. Keep yourself healthy. For sure, for sure. Uh, devils, beasts, imps, incubi slash succubi, the fallen, and the damned. These are the types of hellish beasts I have so far. This is probably going to end up being added on to and stuff like that, but this is kind of the basics. Um, Hierarchy. I should probably figure out the hierarchy as well, because, like I said, the before in previous streams when as I've been working on this, um, why does that not look like a word? Is it a word? Why am I confused? Hierarchy. HIE. Did I spell that? Yeah, I spelled that right. Why does it not look right? Hierarchy. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so it's not just me. Okay, but it's correct. That's so weird. Hierarchy. So in the hellish realms, it basically will be devils, then demons, then incubi slash succubi, um, imps, the fallen, well, no, the damned, and then the fallen. My reasoning behind that is mainly because the fallen were once heavenly beings, the part of the heavenly realms that have fallen because of the actions that they've had and the actions that they've made and intentions had. So I would say that the fallen, even though they're powerful, would be at the bottom rung because they were very much against and opposite of the beings, the hellish beings, because of how that ended up working. So this is kind of the rough hierarchy. So devils are above demons, demons are above incubi and succubi, incubi and succubi are above imps. Beasts, 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 beasts. I think beasts technically would be at the bottom. But the reason for that is not because of the fact that they are lesser than. It's because beasts in this canonical headspace that I'm in, the beasts are great, but they cannot govern themselves in the way that like animals can because they are specific to that. Beasts will generally respond to a command or to a master of some sort, but I wouldn't say that they are I wouldn't say that they are subservient, but they are more likely to listen to someone. Otherwise, they are beings of absolute chaos. And in order to handle a hell beast, you have to be really good at handling them, which will take a few skills to do anyway, and a bit of power to do anyway. So, but they do not govern themselves the way that other beings in the hellish realms would, and so they kind of submit to those beings of a higher power than them who are able to prove that they can get control. But beasts are also that weird like anomaly where sometimes they are equally the most powerful, but they are also they can be the most powerful, but they also are the most unreliable of the hellish realms. So that's kind of what I'm going for with that. Let's see. Just working on this. Should be good. Oh wow, it's already an hour and 40 minutes into the stream. Doing good. We're getting there. It's happening. Um, let's see. What else do I wanna what else do I wanna do? Do 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 do. I know what I'm talking about. I am a working adult. Everything's fine. It's all good. I'm trying to decide if Friday is still a good time to stream or not because I'm kind of considering whether or not I should maybe switch this over to Mondays instead and do Monday evenings. Um, I don't know yet. We'll see. Maybe Fridays will be better. Um, how about this? I shall put a thing in the chat because I can do that. Because I can do that. Woo! Let me put a poll in the chat. Poll. Future of TTRPG streams. Keep it on Fridays. In the evening. Friday evenings. Evening. Keep shift to Monday evening. Um, make it. Oh, welcome back. Welcome back. Make it Friday, but earlier. Friday early. Afternoon. Friday afternoon. Or Wednesday afternoon might work. Noon seems best. Afternoon. Yeah, that'll be good. I'll leave it at that as for them, I think. Alright, so I'm just putting up a little poll. Because I want to be able to still do the TTRPG streams, but I want to make sure that that it works for people that want to see it, but also within the reasonability of my schedule and stuff. So everyone can go ahead and um, add on to it, do what you can, all that stuff. It's not required. I won't come after you if you don't vote. I just like to get an idea of things that might work better for other people, especially if it ends up being like, oh, and now I am doing it at this time, then it would be good to know, you know. Yeah. So let's do this. Okay. That's the general hierarchy. Drugs. Thanks, Kat. Drugs. Now that sound is gonna be in my head. Drugs. All right. Let's see. We got we've got hellish beings. Each of these will have their own thing too. So they're probably gonna end up. There's probably gonna end up being like I might make the hellish beings be the reason that you choose how your dice gets divvied out because of for your core skills specifically, because I feel like that would be fun to do it like that. Yes. Let's see. And then they probably will help with some of the skills as well. So we'll see what ends up happening. Okay. Now it's time to figure out now it's time to figure out. Let's see. We've got the realm, how to make a deal, how to make a contract, jobs. Okay. I guess first we should probably figure out. I'm so tired of doing races. That's fair. That's fair. I've done it so many times already. I get you. Luckily, I'm moving on from races now, so um, that's the basics that I'm gonna have, and then I'm gonna be focusing on other things. I'm just trying to figure out where I'm moving to next, what I'm moving on to next, which should probably be heavenly realms. These are heavenly beings that will cause problems for the hellish beings, especially when they are in humanoid form, in their human temporary form. They will come after, they will. Let's just do some bullet points of things that I want to cover in this. I guess that might be a good way to do this part. Let's see. What are some things that I need to cover? I probably should cover how jobs are supposed to work. Um, um, let's title this part when you first get conscripted. Gert. When you first first get conscripted. I can spell. I'm a spelling genius. uh, when you first get conscripted. Um, things to figure out. Figure out where you are staying, how you are maintaining your personal and human needs. Where are you working? I will say that with as many times I've rewritten rules or scrapped it all together, I do feel it's becoming very solid, much clearer idea of the sort of system it's going to be, and I've learned what I definitely will definitely not work. So profit, yes, that is profit. That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's good. That's a very good sign of moving forward. It gives you, even if you don't feel like it's you feel like it's changed a lot more, I'd say that that is still progress. That's very progress. Um, I mean, I'm barely working on this every day, and I've had to rewrite a few things, and I go back and rewrite things whenever I come in, and I still consider that progress because it is. You have to find progress in things when even when you can't work too diligently on most of that. So, let's see. Okay, okay, okay. Poll's still going, so if no one if anyone has joined and wants to vote, they can, and if anyone wants to put in their own 2 cents, you can as well. And then at the end, I'll use that to help make a decision um, on what I'm doing, where you are working. Um, those are some basic things too. Have you heard of Spirit City Lo-Fi, by the way? Yeah, I have heard of Spirit City Lo-Fi. It's the Steam game, right? Where you plug in, listen to lo-fi spirit, like lo-fi music, and kind of have it be all-encompassing. I have something kind of like that. It's a free version on Steam called Virtual College Cottage, and I've been using that on my productivity streams on Mondays, when I'm doing work because you can customize it and use it as like a focus section in that. So yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't been able to use it, but I have heard of it. Um, it works. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Here I could do a quick preview of it because I use it for my Monday stuff. Let me just summon it up. Hold on a second. Oh no, darkness. The darkness has fallen. Darkness has fallen. This is Virtual Cottage. Let me flip that up here. So, Virtual Cottage. I'm just gonna do a quick little like 5-minute demonstration of it because, yeah. But you can click on things. You can put on different sounds. You can customize it between a cat and a dog. You can change the time frame on it. You can also customize hair color and skin tone. There's music down here. Music down here that you can do. And it shuffles through the list. You can also do a bunch of different things here. You could also just not have music playing at all. And then one of my favorite bits of it is that not only can you full size it, but you can put a checklist here. This was from my last week, the last time that I did this, and I was doing stuff here. And then when you're done with it, you can check, 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 and then you can delete it. And yeah, that's kind of how it works. And then you can pause it. You can resume, undo, and you can have it play a timer after the song so that, yeah, it's pretty nice. This one was completely free on Steam, and I've just been kind of using it for a while. So I do plan on doing more eventually, but yeah. Oh, looks like the poll is done. And it looks like manage poll. The results. What do the results say? Keep it on Friday evenings. Okay. Okay. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Bingo. Alright, put you back on. There we go. Haha. Yes. But yeah, that's Virtual Cottage. And I've been using that for a little while. But yes, now it looks like that Friday evenings are probably going to be the best time to do the stream anyway. So I'm probably going to end up doing that then for most of the upcoming weeks. I know it'll be complicated when there's like more people adding on to it or different plans happening, especially with child and stuff like that. I might not be able to do every Friday, but I'm gonna try my best and see what I can do. So, okay, back to business. Let's see. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that's pretty much how Spirit City works. Yeah, nah, that makes sense. Um, just do what you can. Yeah, I'm planning on it. I like to have a consistent schedule because neurospicy brain likes structure. So works on a weekly timetable. Roll for the weeks for the weekly earnings and for events during the week. Keep track on spending. Weekends will be when specific events happen. Will be when specific progressions depending on the roles during the week, there might be. I must say that my race list has become pretty set, and there are more options than I had originally thought I'd have to. More profit. Exactly! More profit! You find what works, what doesn't work, you keep up with the ones that would work. Bingo, bango, boingo. Yeah, you got it there. Might be events that happen on different days before the weekend. Okay. It's not going to look as nice as the previous things that I've been working on, but I'm just putting effort in because that's what I need to do right now. I need to put effort into it because once I do, it's going to snowball and it's going to collect and it's going to be great. All right. I should also be able to get the stuff set up for socials as well as on my streaming platform, as well as getting a couple of other things figured out. So you guys should be able to see more consistency from me as well. I will see when that ends up happening, but like I said, a lot of other things happening in life right now that have to take priority, but it is going to happen. We are going to make this work. It's going to be fine. First few steps are often hardest. Exactly. As my writing teacher from high school used to say, the hardest part of every book is actually putting the words down. Once you get the words down, everything else will feel better. It's a slog, but it's still better. Um, each month, the debt will collect interest. Period. Let's see. Every week, every payday. It'll be fine. I got Flex Seal. Just pray that round. It'll get your schedule back. I do know Flex Seal for sure. I'm not sure if the reference is of one of the Flex Seal commercials, but that man is a genius. I love his energy. I love his extremism. He's so great. Um, I'll get my schedule back. I will get my schedule back. But I don't know if I know the if the reference if you're not referencing Flex Seal. One of John Tron's Flex Seal sticks to gets. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, it's been a while since I last watched John Tron's skits of Flex Seal. Icon, icon. I love John Tron. uh, yeah. I was first really introduced to him when I got introduced to Game Grumps, and we looked at some of his older things, and JonTron was on it, and I freaking loved JonTron because even though when I got introduced to Game Grumps, it was during the time when JonTron after JonTron had left and started doing his own thing, and Dan Avidan became the new member of the Game Grumps duo. But I went back and watched some of the older stuff with JonTron, and then I found his channel through that, and that was awesome. So yeah, it's great. uh, okay. Repayday. Repayday will be released according to schedule. Now the question is, do I should probably have it all be done on the same day instead of instead of having it be different days each person. Just to make things simpler. Same, I stopped watching Game Grumps for the most part after Dan joined. It's not the same without John. Yeah, it's not the same without John, but it's in its own rights entertaining and fun. Because I very much enjoy watching the Game Grumps still. Specifically, I like their longer Let's Plays and goofy Let's Plays, as well as the 10-minute Power Hour, and now the Grumps as like that offshoot. I specifically catch up on them with less on the gaming content and more on the live stuff because it's very entertaining. It's not the same. You can't really compare the two because JonTron has a different set. Like they're two completely different kind of people, so they have different aspects that I enjoy of each. But JonTron will hold a special place in my heart because of his humor and his and how great he is. But I do still enjoy what Game Grumps did afterwards, if that makes sense. So I don't put them on the same kind of level because you shouldn't really compare that kind of thing, you know. At the end of the work week, budgeting plans should happen post eve. Um, budgeting plans should be encouraged to be taken before the events of the weekend, but can be taken after the events as well. Alright. Works on the week's timetable. You keep track of spending. Weekends will be when specific progressions happen. Roles for different natural events recommended. Because especially if we're basing this in like a real world setting where or something like that where um you deal with economic collapse or you deal with inflation or you deal with recessions and other things like that, it might be good to especially keep in mind that certain things will happen that will make things more difficult or make things um, easier depending on how things go. Um, but I think the randomization of that will also be fun. So probably like a natural occurring table of some sort. Um, let's see. Um, power, power skills. These unlocked with payments, certain occult items, and story progression. Patagosian. Okay. Progression successes. each hellish being will have a number of power skills that they can choose to unlock, and it will be unlocked based on level and based on level. There will be a number of levels that you can unlock, but depending on I think that'll also depend on how many levels each will be given versus how like to debt ratio and stuff like that. So I think we'll say that each hellish being will have 13 levels of not solidified. So 13 levels of power. The idea being that each of these powers that are unlocked are something that is beneficial for the hellish being specifically. So level 1 would be something very basic, obviously, and then as you go up the levels, it becomes more and more powerful until level 13, which would basically be the final power level that makes them into the hellish beings that they are. And they are no longer bound by the human coil. What that's going to look like, I think, will be very dependent on what the person who's playing the character is going to want to do. But we'll have like some guidelines exactly to what that is going to look like. It'll probably start off at the first few of like, oh yeah, my BRB. You're good. You're good. Um, it would most likely be like levels 1 through 5 would be unlocking basic attributes. So this would be like unlocking more strength, unlocking more speed, being more charming, etc. Nope, I don't want to do an emoji right there. Levels 6 through 10, that would be unlocking main power attributes. So this would be specific things that they can do that is very specific to that hellish being. 11 through 13 levels. This would be the final awakening, and this is going to be kind of when it's like broken for the players, because the final awakening would be when the last bits of the demonic hellish power comes alive after being contained, and then everything will be fine. And level 13 would be the final reawakening. We'll put that reawakening. That doesn't look like a word. Why does that not look like a word? That doesn't look like a word. Okay. I'm not married to 13, but I like the number 13, so that kind of makes sense to me. But I am open to higher numbers as well. But I think that this would be a good set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be kind of like, oh, this is the bare minimum that you would unlock because of you being a hellish being from that. Drenching crab in butter before consumption is oh boy. Don't let Crab hear you say that. War against the cats will happen again. Bro. Bro. Night time. uh, constant. Cats versus crabs. Constant. It's just, you live to see it. Um, it'll be the apocalypse once the crabs and cats officially declare World War 17 and fight each other. Let's see. Yeah, I think that that would be good. So this is what the current setup then. Okay, we're about 10 minutes out from 6:30 my time, so I am going to quickly just go over everything that we figured out in this situation. It'll look better once I've gotten more stuff done, right? So, currently we have the evolving dice system. The evolving dice system, basically you start off with one of these dice in your core stat. That will be your core values here. One of these five. You're going to get one of those 5 dice in one of these. These will be affecting things. This is a completely separate thing. I will go over that next time that I work on this because, yeah, I will go over this later. This is going to be a like a buy thing or like a point collecting thing rather than a dice roll. But most of the time you'll be stuck within this realm of dice rolls. So d12s, d10s, d8s, d6s, and d4s. There's a chance to evolve the dice, but you have to do things in order to evolve them up to this or even this level. Markers. The general DCs of meeting success versus failure is currently the final. If the final score is 0 to 5, it's a failure. If the final score is 6 to 10, there is success, but there are also regrets. It's not a clean success. 11 through 15 is a low level success, meaning that there are no negative ramifications, but it is also just kind of a safe success. 16 to 25 will equal a high level success. This is um, like a great expectation of doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing. This is a really good skill that you've picked up and figured out and everything like that. 26 plus is exceptional success. So if you get into anything plus 26, you have literally the optimum result every single time for that role. We've got the core values of the attributes that everyone will have. And then we also included luck and power, which are not necessarily core attributes, but they are things that can affect your core attributes as well as your skills. We also have the skills. We have a good selection of skills here. This is looking pretty nice. We've got skills that are related to your strength, your body, speed. We also have it for thoughts and understanding things and working with things. We have what I like to call the adaptability function here. So I'm going to highlight this because this is going to be special later. The adaptability function, which is going to help with checks in order to make sure that you're kept in check slash that you're not dealing with too much issues and stuff like that. So this is going to help when especially you're trying to figure out how to pretend to be human for a little while, but also during the process on dealing with it so that because you could potentially lose your mind. Um, you know what? Sanity might be another good one. Let's go here. Sanity. And this will be how you coping. How you coping. I like it. Okay. But those are going to be specific to like sanity as well as hiding away. The cloaking and emphasizing, I think this one, I'm going to undo this though, because it's not that I don't think that it's important. I just don't think it's in that same group that these three are going to be. Um, yep, perception stuff. And then we'll figure out more like of the attack skills, like specific attacks that you can do. Um, contracting and deal making skills. This will also be dependent on what type of being that you are, as well as like your background and stuff. Power skills, which is specific to when you unlock your potential and your power. Working and earning skills. That one I want to go into a little bit more of in the future, just so that there's specifics in that, but we can get there eventually. There will be an evolution for Bice dying and a de-evolution for Dice. Wow, did I say anything that was coherent? Barely. Um, but yeah, you can evolve your dice, and you can devolve your dice depending on things that happen in game, as well as buying and point trading and other things like that. You can also get them in game depending on how things go. And generally, the how dice rolls will work is that there will be a core dice that you're using. There will be a skill dice that you're doing, and then there's also going to be a plus or minus modifier. So depending on the modifier, you might end up having to want to roll more dice or less dice. So you're on average rolling 2 dice per skill, per roll. You're gonna average out 2 dice because um, you're using 2 separate skills. But if you have 2d4s, in like let's say you have a body skill that's a d4, and then you also are doing like brute force, but you only have a d4 in that one. So you'd be rolling 2d4s, and then you have a, let's say, a +1 modifier. So say I roll 2d4s and I roll 2 plus 2, that would be 4, then +1, that's a 5. 5 would still be a failure, but you almost get to it. You could succeed if you had just rolled a little higher on the other 2 dice. Modifiers will be effective as well by things happening. I want to say modifiers. We'll go over modifiers next time. Modifiers, how they work. That will be a goal. That will be a goal for sure. Okay, and then in the rough iteration, I started working on continuing. We've basically finished up with the races of the hellish beings, which is good. I will get into the heavenly beings at some point, but that might not happen until later. Um, And then I'm gonna start working on the initial play-by-play. So when you first get conscripted, this is some things that you need to work on, some things to remember, some things to keep in mind, etc. And then that way we can build up to that so that I have a rough idea of things for when we try to alpha test this project. Because I honestly think, based on the work I've been putting in and stuff like that, I might be able to start alpha testing by 2026. You can quote me on that. I think that sometime in 2026, we'll be able to start alpha testing this project at the rate that I'm going. And that's at the rate that I'm going, not if I am increasing the rate because of my ability to work on it and whatnot. So, but I think that we made some pretty good work on this. I'm feeling, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Um, yeah. Looks like that Fridays will be my new streaming schedule too. So I will be streaming on Fridays, probably most Fridays. I don't know if I'll say every Friday because there will be some Fridays where I can't, obviously, but I want to say that most Fridays will be TTRPG stuff. And depending on how that works, we might even try to stream a game so that you guys can watch a gameplay as well as me building up a system. But I haven't talked to anyone yet about whether or not they would want to join me in that. The main thing is, if I start doing it, it might also start as like solo RPG adventures. Or if I do end up bringing people in to play during this time, they would have to, I would have to approve who's going to be playing, and they would have to work with me to make sure that it's fun but still stream appropriate. Thought I had an emergency for false alarm. No worries, I get you. We're basically wrapping it up now because it's getting later and I probably need to get some stuff done and everything, but we made some good progress. So, like I said, the future of this channel, of specifically the TTRPG streams, it looks like we're gonna remain on Fridays, Friday evenings specifically. Um, will it be every Friday? I don't know, but it will at least be on Fridays. Um, some of the streams will be me working on this project. Some of it will probably be me playing a game with other people, or maybe even doing some solo RPG adventures, so that there's more variety to what I put out during this time slot. But I will still be working on this. And like I said, I think the by the rate that I'm going, even though it's not much, I should be able to start alpha testing in 2026, which will be nice. So that's kind of the plan, is to alpha test in 2026. But overall, I feel like this was a pretty successful stream. Um, Thank you, everyone, for being here. I hope that the rest of your Fridays are going well. I hope everyone's having a great time. And thank you for so much for joining me on this lovely Friday evening as I am working on this TTRPG. If you ever need gameplay, let me know. I haven't streamed in a while and I usually have my hands full, but I could do it now and then if anything. Yeah, I'll definitely let you know. For sure, because I want to be able to do the TTRPG, like building of the system, but I also want to make sure that I'm adding actual gameplay as well. What I will do is, my plan is, I'm also working on the social media aspect, so I should be able to set up a Discord and social media as well as the schedule and stuff like that soon. So once those are all kind of set up, that will be me starting to branch out and play around with different ideas as well. So I'll definitely keep people in the loop about that. And you guys will get announcements on each of my streams, or once the social media is there, I should be able to link it somewhere so that people can follow me, and then I'll announce it on those as well. Of course, of course. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. That was awesome. We got a lot of work done today, actually, even though, um, you know, even if things were a little slow, it still was good because, yeah, it's always good. I think as a first, we should probably raid a channel. Um, let's see who we'd want to raid. Um, let's see. We've got someone playing Pathfinder 2E, Lapel de Cthulhu. It's a French tabletop, it looks like. Cyberpunk Red, D&D 5th Ed, Session 3. Um, oh man. Let's see. I think, I think it might be a good idea. Let's raid. I guess let's raid this D&D 5th 5e modern tabletop jungle session. If everyone's cool with that. We're just gonna raid because it might be good to do that. Killshot Kitty just started and she's playing Super Mario. Killshot Kitty? Okay, let me see if I can find her. Oh, never mind. uh, yeah, I don't know who to raid, so I'm always down for suggestions. Killshot Kitty. Retro. Celebrating it's a month long subalon. Yeah, she's been streaming for 30 minutes, give or take. So I guess, yeah, let's raid. All right, everyone, go forth, enjoy, have fun, and we will talk more soon. Have a good one. Bye. Enjoy, 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 and bye. Six, catch you later. Bye bye.